Hey everybody, welcome to the February edition of Evening's Drinks. Today our drink set is based off of
Bad Decisions,
Dance Dance Revolution Super Mario Mix, Super Mario DDR.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we've made a delightful set of drinks for you to drink one through each level of the game and help act as temporary painkillers while you try and play.
Especially if you're as bad as us.
So beginning with the first level, we have the Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Please keep in mind that all of our measurements are out of 10. We're personally using ounces and then combining them between our two glasses because we're drinking all of these in succession. For the Waluigi, you will combine 6 parts white cranberry juice, 3 parts blackberry brandy, and 1 part cinnamon whiskey. So, Waluigi.
Ends up being a lot like the red potion, honestly.
I have to disagree. The red potion had a lot of bitter, it had a lot of pungent aftertaste.
I just remember that. Wait, no. I'm getting our last two confused. Yeah, it wasn't anything like it.
Yeah.
It's like if you took the red potion and put fireberry in it. It got that bit of a cinnamon, but a lot of the start is just fruit.
And honestly, I find it delightful. This is probably my favorite thing that we've made so far. And I will say, despite how red it looks thanks to the tablecloth, this is
fairly... It's a purplish red.
It's not quite as purple as I would have necessarily wanted it, more maybe a burgundy.
Yeah, but there's not too much in the way of purple liqueurs.
Well, we have a purple brandy.
That's what's in here.
Yeah. The best way I can describe its flavor is that you get hit with a lot of fruit tones up front, with the blackberry hitting you in combination with the cranberry. And because it's a white cranberry, it isn't tart, so it hits as a beautifully mellowed sweet.
And then that little bit of a cinnamon aftertaste. Well, a bit more than a little bit of a cinnamon aftertaste.
It's not even that much more than a little. You don't really get hit by it. It's just...
But you can still
a little bit of
taste it. A little is more of a... There's cinnamon in here.
It gives you a warm feeling as you drink it, which on a cold day is always nice.
Not necessarily what you get out of Destruction Dance, but hey, it's for the level, not just that.
So on taste, I would give this a 2. I could imagine something tastier, but it's still really good.
I mean, I can imagine something tastier. If it still tastes the same as our last iteration, it's sitting right next to my hand. So I'm agree with 2.
Okay. Costs.
I mean, most of it's white cranberry juice.
And then we're still using the kinky because it's such a powerful...
You use like this much at a time.
Yeah, so it goes a long way. We got it on sale. Even normal fireberry isn't very expensive.
Fireball.
Yes, Fireball, big difference. The brandy was like, what, $15 for a liter bottle?
Something like that? I'll check that quick.
So it was cheap for a mixed drink, so...
Yeah.
Could get cheaper?
Could it though? 2 fairly cheap things in a juice.
It could still get cheaper.
True, so I'm still going to give it a 2 though.
Yeah, but we're still agreeing on 2s. Drinkability.
Easy.
Very easy. Very easy.
It's fruit juice, but better.
But with that said, I couldn't chug it.
I can't chug anything.
It's something to be sipped and enjoyed.
Yeah. Just a mouthful in between dances.
Yeah. Which is perfect for this. That is what we were going for with all of these. Is something you can pick up while you're stuck hammering on that A button to get to the next level, and have a sip or 2 of, put it back down, do the next dance, pick it back up.
Gets slowly worse as the game progresses.
Exactly.
It's just what you need to get through that game.
Somehow make normal mode fun.
It might work. We should try that later. Not tonight, but later.
So then, I would put drinkability down as a 3, but an intended 3.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Difficulty. It's basic putting stuff in a shaker.
Very simple. Measure, measure, measure. Not hard measurements because they're out of 10. 1 on difficulty.
Yeah.
And finally, alcoholic. We invented this at the same time we did the red potion. I've been making everyone in the family these ever since. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I could probably drink a lot of it, yeah. I'm gonna go with 4, just because I'd like to think it'd take me a lot to turn to just drinking alcohol almost constantly, but...
So, time for the best part. The math! The part that gets cut out for you! So, the final score for the first drink stands at a 7.7 out of 10, with 10 being the best. The Waluigi is definitely above average.
It's a lot better than the actual Waluigi is in the game.
As we move along to level 2 in the HMS Brass, because that's not a stupid name for a dance thing. When's the last time you danced to brass music and you weren't in the 70s? We move on to the Blooper. For the Blooper, first put in 2 parts Kahlua. Then combine together 5 parts Irish cream and 3 parts milk. Please keep in mind that our original Irish cream made this a much whiter mixture, but it was so tasty that we drank it all.
I drank it all.
Then carefully layer the milk cream solution over the Kahlua. Kampai. Even without it being the better stuff we had the first time, I still love Irish cream.
Yeah. Taste. I love this stuff.
I'm not a huge fan of the Kahlua. I never have been. I probably never will be. I don't like coffee, so I'm giving it a 2.
I'm just giving it a 1. This is all the good stuff.
Now, cost is the debatable one, because this particular iteration wasn't that bad. You bought a different Irish cream that was cheaper.
It was Ollie's instead of the super fancy looking white stuff I can't remember the name of. Not the cheapest stuff we found. It was still pretty good according to the bottle. It's arguably the world's best Irish cream.
But, I mean, shout outs to the owner of our local spirit shop that pointed out the first one we got to us and
delicious stuff.
Gonna have to get more of that.
Yeah.
But for the time being, we went with this one. So, the question is, do we consider the cost all around? Or do we consider the cost based off what we got? Because it's still this good with us buying the lower end ingredients. I can only imagine that if you were to buy a Bailey's, or hey, if you have it anywhere near you, Black Button Bourbon Cream. This stuff is Black Button Bourbon Cream. It won an award for a reason. This stuff is amazing. To the point where we weren't allowed to open it for this. It's for special occasions. But I think it's like $40 a bottle. So this is the question. Do we consider it based off of what we wish we had used or what we did use? Because you could use any kind with it. Or do we consider that there's a wide variety in the cream part and just simply base it off of the average combined with Kahlua and milk? Milk, I don't know about where you live. If you're in California, I'm told it's really expensive, but it's like $2.50 a gallon out here, $3.50.
Whoa.
Whole milk. Whole milk is like $3.50 a gallon.
The good milk.
The only real milk. Meanwhile, Kahlua is Kahlua. Unless you're in a college town, that'll be fine. If you are in a college town, hi Geneseo, I'm very sorry that they gouge you. With the wide variety in cream, but with the cheapness of the other ingredients that make up so much of it, I would call it a 2 in cost because there's such a wide variety in cream. It could go as low as a 1, but the average I would still say is a 2, with the high end being a 3. Because we saw how much that bottle of Bailey's was.
I'm gonna go for 3 just because of how fast the bottles of Irish cream seem to go. Like, even the ones I made were like 2 drinks was half a bottle.
Says the man who brings a mixed drink up to my room and goes, "Try this," and I hold it up to my face and all I can smell is alcohol.
Arguably that was gonna put way too much vodka in there. I usually do that with White Russians and I still am not apologizing. I drank all of it too.
I'll call it a 2. You call it a 3.
Yeah.
Drinkability. I mean, it's drinkable.
Again, just sips at a time, so I kind of have to keep it a 3 there.
I don't much like Kahlua, so I'll up it to a 4.
Well, one thing you couldn't see while I was sipping it is when you bring it up to your mouth, especially with the whiter one, you noticed it. The Kahlua mixes in, and it does look like a squid kind of jetting away, which was a lot of why you don't mix it in the first place. So it really fit the thematic thing. We don't really have a category for that, so I figured I'd bring it up now.
So, difficulty. I don't like layering things. I
Layering
really
is a
don't.
pain. I'm even worse at it than him.
I have to call it, it's not complicated other than that, so I'll call it a 3, but it has to be a 3 to me because of layering.
I'd even say 4, because I find layering really difficult. Of course, I might have been holding the spoon the wrong way this entire time, I just found out.
He holds the spoon upside down. People, tell me, am I doing it wrong that I hold the spoon right side up?
I just never really knew what I was doing.
Likelihood of making me an alcoholic. You are essentially making one of these a night for a while.
I have not made any of these. I made White Russians. They're the same thing with vodka. And Irish cream makes it a bit too strong. Yeah. But these are a bit better than White Russians, though, yes. I would probably put this as a 2.
I don't like Kahlua, so I call it a 3 because I could honestly get past the Kahlua part. In fact, instead of Kahlua, we have a delicious macadamia nut liqueur. If I were to put the macadamia nut liqueur where the Kahlua is and make the same thing, I would drink these all day, every day.
Does that really mix with the cream?
Yes, I tried it.
Really?
It does.
I'll take your word on it.
The blooper comes out at a 7.3, just under, actually, the Waluigi.
Probably mostly difficulty putting it a bit lower.
It got beaten out on its drinkability and its difficulty. Because remember, the Waluigi was a 1 out of 1 difficulty.
Yeah.
So that knocked
That
it
actually
down a bit.
cost 2.
It gained a little bit on its alcoholicness, but it still ended up a 7.3. Still well above average. Still doesn't beat the 8 on the red potion that we gave, though.
Yeah.
So, with that, we enter the 3rd level with the park.
And Wario.
The Tubby Man himself. For the Wario, you'll combine 7 parts lemonade, 1.5 parts lemonade whiskey, and 1.5 parts honey liqueur. The Wario! No, that's the high. That's Waluigi!
Wario.
There you go, you got it.
Oh god, that smells repugnant. I forgot that.
Tastes fine, smells repugnant. Don't smell it, guys. No, drink it.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's just...
The smell is not the best, I will admit.
It fits Wario.
But try drinking it and you'll find out that the smell is not representative.
It's like an overly sweet lemonade.
I wouldn't even call it overly sweet. I'd call it
I
a
like my
sweet
lemonades
lemonade.
really tart.
Most people like it in the middle though. I would call it a sweetish lemonade with
Ish?
a bit of a bite to it.
I wouldn't even put the ish on there. There's way more sweet in here than most lemonades.
You like your lemonade so sour your mouth turns inside out.
The way lemonade is made to be drank.
Alright, if you're like me and you like lemonade in the middle, maybe a little bit high on the tart side, you'll find it to be a sweet lemonade with the kick in it from the whiskey.
I like a little bit of sweet and then just keeping the lemon flavor. I'm there for the lemon, not the nade.
So I have a feeling we're going to disagree heavily on this point. I'm giving taste a 3. It's not as good as the last 2, but I like it. I like lemonade.
It just doesn't taste enough like what I like lemonade to be. There's too much of the honey in there. I'm giving it a 5. It's not bad, but it's nothing special.
Cost. Lemonade.
You could even make it home for like 5 cents a bottle.
Yeah. We didn't end up using powdered lemonade, but I'm sure it would work with it. We used...
I mean, our lemonade is $2 for a quart.
Yeah, so it's cheap.
You can't call lemonade expensive.
The honey liqueur we just have because I'm addicted to honey liqueur.
But how expensive is it overall when you can find it?
Small bottles that don't last very long are $15. Large bottles are $32, but they're difficult to find the large or small bottles. We didn't have one anywhere in our area. So that one's a little bit up there. And the honey whiskey wasn't that expensive for being a micro
But that was the one
distillery.
we were talking about.
Or the lemonade whiskey, sorry.
Yes.
The lemonade whiskey wasn't that expensive for being a micro distillery.
If you can find lemonade whiskey on your own, I can't judge your prices.
We used Lake George Distillery. They have a really good one. They also make a sweet tea moonshine. And you take the two and you put them together. That's good.
I'm not a fan of sweet tea in the first place. We can sense a theme here.
So, cost is up there, but not too bad. I'd call it a 4.
Yeah, I can agree with that number. Can't go much higher, seeing as most of the drink is lemonade.
So, drinkability. I think we're going to vastly differ on this one.
I'm going to go with 4 just because of how much the smell throws you off. Because every time you lift up to drink, especially with the wider rim glasses, you're putting your nose in there.
I find that it doesn't bother me after that first initial sip. It'll probably get to you the first initial sip, but after that, you won't notice it because you're looking forward to the sip.
Every time you're getting it before you sip, and with the flavor not being as great to me, it messes you up.
That may be the difference.
It's not hard to drink because it still tastes mostly like lemonade, but I can't go lower than a 4.
Either way, I find it drinkable. I could easily accidentally down it before the first song is over. 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of feel like I'm being generous still with that.
Well, then up it. You don't have to be close to what I say.
But I feel like a 5 is too high.
Alright.
If we had decimals, I'd probably put it somewhere in like a 4.6, but we
Please
don't
do
decimals.
that to my math. Please do not do that to my math.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't.
Difficulty. Easy. So easy.
What number do we give the first one?
Likelihood of making me an alcoholic. Alright, this is going to sound odd coming from me given how much I like it. But I'm going to give it a 3 because this isn't something I would make a lot of the time. I would only really make it for this kind of situation where I'm having to drink in between playing a game. I wouldn't make it just to drink it, despite how much I like it. If I was going to do that, call me lazy, but I'd just drink lemonade. Maybe with like a little bit of vodka put in it, or some limoncello.
Man, I'm going all the way up to a 6. This ain't getting me to drink more. I'd really rather just have lemonade. 7. I'd rather just have lemonade.
Alright. So math says...
Survey says he's wrong.
So the Wario scores a final points of 6.6 out of 10. It still sits at above average, potentially because I like it so much. But that still places it well above average. It is when we have disputes like this, though, that I wish we had a third person to sit down at the table with us, give us their numbers, and we can average the 3 numbers. With that, we move on to...
the windshield washer fluid.
We call Blue Rasberry juice windshield washer fluid.
Not just because it makes people really disconcerted when you're like, hey, can you stop by Stewart's and pick up some windshield washer fluid? I'm thirsty.
Yes. For the Freezie, you'll combine 6 parts of Blue Rasberry, 2 parts of peppermint schnapps, and 2 parts of gin. Bottoms up.
Right, drinking it.
I can say that's an overpowering mint flavor just at the outset. May have messed up the numbers on this one.
Then again, cool mint. It is what we were going for.
We were going for toothpaste? When you make this, instead of gin, put in your favorite type of fruit instead. That could be more of the blackberry brandy from the first one. It could be...
I don't know, blackberry brandy might mess up the color too much.
Yeah, it could be the Sinister Serpent from a couple of our episodes. It could
be the dragonberry. That might have worked pretty well.
Yeah, our dragonberry
I'm not
rum
going to try it
probably would
today
have worked
because
well.
this is too much for one night, in my opinion.
Even our mango pineapple vodka probably would have worked, but it needs another fruit instead of the gin. The gin is too tart. as I'm tasting it and as we got some feedback on it, the mint's fine. It's the other flavors, particularly the gin. The gin is too harsh, and the windshield wiper fluid doesn't do anything to tone it down. So we have to rate based off of what's in our hand, but I think it would be great if it had a fruit in it. So when you make your own for this set, put a fruit in it.
Taste 6. Where did
8.
that go? 8? I mean, it's not that bad.
You kidding me? It makes me pine for the Captain Falcon. I'm giving it an 8, sorry. I would rather drink the Captain Falcon. Just the Falcon, not the bomb. I still don't want the bomb.
Why?
Because I hate this. I want it to have fruit in it. If it had fruit in it...
Well, your mother smelt of elderberries then.
If it had fruit in it, I think I would rate this a 3 or a 4. Maybe even a solid 3, not even a 4. As it stands, though, it's an 8. Don't put gin in this. Cost.
Windshield washer fluid is $2, same as the lemonade. Got it from the same place. They were sitting next to each other. I mean, we're people, in the loosest definition of the term.
Gin's not that bad. Peppermint schnapps was cheap.
I mean, it's cheaper than the alternative that we want.
I'd call it a 3. Nah. No, 3 because it's pretty cheap, all things considered.
Yeah, not the cheapest, but pretty cheap.
Drinkability.
Drinkability. I'm gonna say 6. You can, but just sips at a time. Not like full mouthfuls, but sips.
Do I have to finish it? Let me reiterate. If this was fruit, I would probably give it a 2, a
But
3,
it ain't
maybe a 4.
You didn't have that idea.
It's not fruit. I'm giving it another 8. Difficulty, 1.
Yeah.
Likelihood of making me an alcoholic, 10.
8.
This is gonna drag down our average. 4.6.
But that's not too much below average, so I still think the set will be above average.
How did it get that close to average?
Cost and ease.
Cost and ease. They were really easy. It was really easy. It wasn't that expensive, but that doesn't say anything good. So is PBR. Gotta finish it, so.
Do it!
You want to waste the money?
The aftertaste of having brushed your teeth.
Don't take a mouthful of it, whatever you do!
That's like eating toothpaste, you idiot!
So finally, we have the Bowser.
Your rocket pieces. We're fighting the breakdancing Bowser.
Oh, collect your rockets.
I don't wanna.
And finally, for the Bowser, you'll combine 4 parts sweet and sour mix, 3 parts Serpent's Bite whiskey, 2 parts gin, and 1 part pepper shine, which is a moonshine made with various types of peppers, but focusing on the more spicy variety such as jalapenos. Combine! Actually,
It's worse after the last one.
I like it.
It was better on its own. Right after the last one, it just hits you so much harder.
If anything, here's the thing. It brings forward a lot more of... Part of my problem when we were testing it was that it didn't really have any of the pepper, the hot flavor. Bowser's a spicy dude.
I wasn't ready for all that. I was ready for what we had when we were testing, not right after windshield washer fluid.
He's a fire-breathing lizard and his dance moves are hot.
Way better than Mario's.
My problem was it didn't have that spiciness, no matter how much we seemed to put in it of the pepper shine. This has got that spiciness. By the way,
Contrasting with this.
seems like we're doing a lot of shout-outs today, but shout out to High Rock Distillery that made our pepper shine. I think it got better because of that kick, because that's what you need. You're about to go up against the hardest levels in the game. You need that kick in your ass.
Last 2 songs, one of which you hate.
Okay, I don't hate Always Smiling, I just hate it getting stuck in my head. The sweet and sour mix blended pleasantly with the whiskey, the gin, And that gave it a bit of a bite to it that then is backed up when you breathe back out. It's got the bite going in that Bowser should have. And then you breathe back out and you've got the heat as if you, well...
It's definitely a
as
boss
if you were the one breathing flames is too much to say. It's still a good mixed drink. The question is, do you like spicy? You probably won't like it if you don't like spicy. Our mom wouldn't like it. Do you like to get bit? That bite, that bitterness, that tang is what brings it forward and really makes it kick.
I mean, I like spicy, but it still hits pretty hard.
I think it has to.
Yeah, it does, but...
It's coming at the end of 4 other mixed drinks. It's at the end of the game.
End of the game.
If you've been doing a full one of these,
arguably,
for each level of the game.
My only issue with thinking of it as the game, what I almost feel what you need for this, for the last 2 levels, is like 2 shots worth, or like 3 shots worth, so you do like...
I would say shots.
I'm not saying necessarily shots,
I would
but like
say,
size-wise.
What I would say is that the size we have right now is the perfect size.
I couldn't do more than sips of this because of the heat to it. I don't think you want to finish it right afterwards.
But I think you would need to, because here's the thing. If you've been doing a full one of each of these, you're going to be feeling it. I don't care who you are. It's a long game when you do it that way, but it's not that long. Overall, it's like, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Somewhere around 2 hours.
So, at that point, you've just had... That's 9 shots.
So if you can still dance at the end of this, props to you.
At this point, you need the kick in the pants that this gives you.
I think it's still not sure that much.
But here's the thing. If you just simply want a kick in the pants, this is your drink. This is your mixed drink.
If you just want a kick in the pants, invite me over and get a haddock. I will slap you silly with it.
Is it getting towards the end of the party? You want a mixed drink that'll wake you back up and get you moving in that party? Try it. It's not only tasty, but it kicks you.
How many places really sell pepper shine, though?
I don't know.
Is that a common thing?
Find somewhere. Support your micro distilleries. So taste, I'm actually going to give it a 3. And I don't much like spicy things. I like this. A lot.
I'm gonna keep the 3 even though I like spicy things. I think a lot of it just because of how much it contrasts with this. You'd be like having sweet pepper ice cream, hot pepper ice cream. It just isn't something you expect, and I prefer to expect what I'm drinking.
Cost. Serpent's Bite is cheap. The sweet and sour mix was cheap.
Super cheap.
Pepper Shine is about $25 for a big bottle of it.
You don't use too much with them.
And gin is gin, so I would call it another 3.
Also, gin is the only ingredient we carried over, and we want to get rid of it from the only other place we used it.
Drinkability. Okay, I love it.
It ain't drinkable.
You're sipping it a sip at the time.
That's why I was saying this might be a bit much for the 2 songs that we're given.
But there's that huge cutscene beforehand.
It's not like you're gonna be chugging it during the cutscene, though.
You don't even have to chug it. The cutscene takes so long.
I might get this far through it during the cutscene. I've taken, what, 2 more sips than you? I've taken less than you.
So then you do Always Smiling. You take some more sips before Bowser. And then when you hit Bowser, you go...
I can't do that.
I had to finish it off.
I can't be
Whoa,
doing
that breathe out!
That. Yeah, now that's why I can't be doing that.
No, see, that's what's good about it.
I think we see differently here.
That breathe out, you down it, and you get that sweet...
I just can't down things.
When you do it, from my perspective, you get that sweet-sour mix with the extra sweet hit from the Serpent's Bite, combined with the extra sour hit or pungent hit from the gin. And they all go down, and you get a little bit of a blending agent from the bell pepper and pepper aspect of the pepper shot. Then you breathe out, and all the heat from the pepper shine billows back into your mouth, and that's what gets you going. So you drink it, it tastes amazing, and then you breathe back out, and I'm ready to fight Bowser now.
I don't even get that much of an aftertaste. It's more, this is not a drink for downing. I can't down
It isn't that there is an aftertaste. I'm not saying there is. You get the taste as it goes in.
I get all those tastes you're saying. I'm saying I just can't down this drink.
I can.
It has too much flavor to just down.
It's perfect to me because as it rolls across my tongue, it hits each point on it. It all rolls across the tongue in one go, blended out by the almost, not bland, but mellow flavors of the pepper. And then when you breathe back out, it all comes rolling back out over as spicy. It doesn't taste spicy going in. It's on the one breath back out, and then you don't taste it again. Your second breath, you might have something. Your third breath, you don't taste it anymore. And all that's left is that lingering, full mouth feeling as if you just ate a bite of something perfectly balanced.
I don't know, maybe I prefer one stronger flavor than that strong balance of flavors, but I can't take more than sips of this. I see things with this much flavor as things that should be enjoyed slowly.
I don't disagree.
Like a solid curry. You use a normal spoon, not a soup spoon, because you get so much flavor. You don't want to deal quickly.
I would agree on that. In fact, this may be a drink that I will make for myself in future just to make. But with that said, I'm actually dropping my taste down to a 2.
I'm keeping it a 3 just because it's like every now and then there's just a hint that, why are you doing this?
But my point was for drinkability that it could just be down like that. Even as a sip, you still get that roundness of flavors that I was talking about, especially if you hold it in your mouth for a second and it starts to heat up in your mouth as your mouth starts.
Nothing in my mouth.
I'm putting drinkability at a 2. The only reason I'm not giving it a 1, I messed up the 4, okay? I was putting it on the wrong side. The only reason I'm not giving it a 1 is because you have to pause, breathe out, let that taste linger, and then you can take another sip or another gulp. But you have to do one gulp. And I feel like if you were to just go...
I can't even do that with water more than like 2
Then that would be a waste. Difficulty. There's 4 ingredients, but it was still easy.
I mean, since you're making a half, since that's what we recommend, and you probably wouldn't want to make 2 of them at a time, you do have to put it up a bit because a half a thing is harder to measure.
Well, 0.5 ounces isn't hard to measure. It's
depending on your glass.
That's true.
A lot of things only go to the single increment.
Well, ounces tend to go to the half ounce. That's why we started using ounces. I don't think it's a 1 out of 1 difficulty, but I think it's a 2.
Yeah, I can agree with 2. It's a little bit above minimal, but it's still there.
Likelihood of making me an alcoholic. Now, I'm not going to drink this just to drink it.
It's like an energy drink. I don't personally want it that often, if at all, but I can see its purpose.
But it definitely has its purpose. Like, I'm playing a game and it's got me down. I'm up late researching for a paper or writing a paper or doing some homework, and it's got me way down.
I'm on a 6-game...
Give me one of these.
I'm on a 6-game losing streak and I need to do something.
Exactly. I will say that my alcoholicness towards it is not very high because I'm not going to drink it that often, but it's highly alcoholic. It's only 4 parts mix, and even the mix was 1% alcoholic.
So, not really.
So, over half of it is alcohol. I'm going to put it as a 5, right in the middle. I wouldn't drink it often, but there's a lot of alcohol when I would drink it.
I'm going to put it as a 7 or... I'm actually going to go, 7. Just because it seems to my mind to seem the same purpose of energy drinks, and I have never really drank those.
Okay, so then that gives us all our numbers. Math. The final score for the Bowser is a 6.7 out of 10, which actually puts it 1 point above the Wario. Get off your phone! I must say, I much prefer it over the Wario. He's the one dragging it down.
Well, you're the one that dragged the Freezie down. So.
Alright. So, average for our full set of 5. Now, when I say this, keep in mind, if we put fruit in this, I know I've said it multiple times throughout the episode.
At least a 6.
Our average comes out for the set at a 6.6.
So still better than most sets we've done?
It's better than average. Honestly, that makes it better than any set we've done for the show before.
I'm well versed in failure. Let's just leave it there.
So the point is, it comes out at 6.6. As we reviewed it, it comes out at roughly a 7 when you correct the Freezie. So with that said, we hope you enjoyed our first group of mixed drinks. Hopefully you'll try some of them on your own based off of our recommendations. They were pretty good overall, but they're perfect if you're playing through this game, especially since in the review I recommended this game for adults with children to play with their kids.
I specifically remember, not necessarily part of this review, but Dad really enjoyed playing this with us when we first got it. It was actually the first game we got for the GameCube when we picked it up.
I mentioned that in the episode, and I think he would have had a blast drinking through each of these as he went through each world with us.
And probably telling us they were just normal drinks, that we couldn't have any because they were his.
We'll see you all in March with another drink. It may be one of our own creation, and maybe one from the Moogle that's already been created. We'll have to wait and see because I am reviewing a certain fantasy game that month. See you all then.
Finally.